right, Monday morning, all you legends. Hamish with you for the morning briefing. Tony is here as well. Tony, you're in fine spirits today. You always are, but you're particularly happy today.
Yeah, I'm particularly happy because I'm counting them down now, Hamish. 3 victories to the 55th title. It's the ticker tape approacheth, doesn't it? So lovely job.
Yeah, three wins as a maximum, isn't it? Because it could be
wins.
less than that if our rivals continue to be unable to win anything at home. So obviously the next game in the league is against them. We'll get on to the various permutations and other things from the weekend. Before then, just a quick word from our new-ish sponsor. We're on a few videos now. This Celtic Way video is brought to you by S1 Jobs. If it's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. That's s1jobs.com. They've got thousands of jobs across Glasgow, Edinburgh, and the surrounding areas, and you'll find the one you want at S1 Jobs. You can start your search today. So a big thanks to them for supporting the channel. Tony, it was a good weekend, wasn't it? It was another enjoyable one.
Another Carlsberg weekend, wasn't it? It was just great to take the field knowing that your rivals should drop points. And I know the manager and the players say they don't pay attention, but they kind of do. Everybody does, don't they? And and also I picked up St Mirren as well because I thought they gave us a right good game. And that quality and depth that you have in your squad shone through again, when the players came on. And it was just a wonderful story with Yang, wasn't it? With his girlfriend coming over and and lots of people have persevered with Yang, none more so than the manager. And it's just great to see him get his just reward. He just looked so happy, didn't he? And and I think every Celtic fan and every Celtic player and the manager has been willing him to do well. We are now seeing that end product, which always threatened, but didn't always deliver. But he's now starting to deliver that on a more consistent basis. And of the wingers, you would say his cameo performances recently have been better than what Kuhn's been producing. Can't argue with that.
You starting your campaign for Yang on Sunday in the Cup, or are you going that far?
Listen, would it surprise you? I'm a yellow jersey man, and I think Kuhn's contribution has been not stellar in the past wee while. So just let Kuhn know, give him a wee jolt that if you're not producing, then that's what happens. You could be out the team for important games. And it's not a dig at Kuhn. I'm just talking about an actual end product. And I think Yang's been producing that more than Kuhn of late. I mean, early in the season, you would have said Kuhn was a shoe-in for the Player of the Year. Dyson Readers just came down with a late charge and is going to take it off him, isn't he? So,
yeah, I think with every passing game, it looks more like Dyson Maida than Nicholas Kuhn. I mean, Yang, it's great to see him doing well. Something's definitely changed there.
Yep.
And it's, I guess, your eyes don't often tell you lies when you're watching it. It's pretty obvious something's clicked there for Yang over at least the past couple of games, maybe slightly longer than that. The stat that's the most simple stat you'll ever find is that the start of this year, so when the Hogmanay went into the new year, Yang had 1 goal for Celtic at that point. 1 Celtic goal to his name, and he's now got 6. He scored 5 goals in the first couple of months of this year after scoring 1 in the previous, 18 months. And that, to me, that's clearly not a coincidence. I think he's getting himself into better areas than he was before, areas like Saturday, areas that he wasn't early on in his career, or to be honest, up until fairly recently. That was always my issue with Yang. He looked neat and tidy at times, but was he a goal threat in terms of scoring a goal or assisting a goal? Occasionally, but nowhere near enough for me. I think now he's getting into areas to score goals, but probably the even bigger difference or change is that he's now taking chances when they come. Like the first one in particular, I thought on Saturday was a brilliant header, and I'm really not sure he does that a year, 6 months ago. I think there's been a big change. I'm not sure quite where it's clicked for him, and listen, it's still early days. I'm not going to go overboard because it might be a purple patch. He needs to keep this up consistently. But if he does, we've got a good player.
2 things make it for me. That first goal. One, the header. Buried the header. Absolute textbook header. Brilliant. Still a lot to do. The cross is terrific too. But the other thing is, it's being able to pick up that position, as you say. It's the run that he makes. Hatate's looking up and Yang's just darted in there. You fire it in there, I'll do the rest. And as you say, he's a much more confident player because Yang wouldn't have done that even a couple of months ago. He wouldn't have been able to finish like that. And then the one that he smacked into the top corner, which is the best goal. It's a striker's finish. And it's just the mark of a confidence player. And before anybody starts, I'm not having a go at Kuhn. I'm just talking about the contribution of both players in the last while since Yang's picked up. And I think Yang's chapping the door and asking the manager a question for Saturday, isn't he? That's all I'm saying. I still love what Kuhn's brought. And, but I just think there's been a tapering off. He's gone off the boil maybe at the wrong time of the season for a lot of supporters, which is noticeable, right? In your eye test, you're seeing that, and then you're seeing a player who's now coming on, making that impact and playing with real confidence. And as you say, lots of Celtic supporters, jury maybe still out on him, but he's starting to show the kind of player that Celtic thought they bought. And there's talk of a South Korean international recall, which I think would be brilliant for the player as well. That would lift his spirits and his confidence levels no end. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. And as I say, two cracking headers. The other header was just Jeffrey Slip made that, didn't he? And he's another one, got on the score sheet. Terrific.
He's excellent, isn't he? He's really good.
He's a player. And as I mentioned on the pod before, you don't play that long in the English Premier League, win the title and play consistently for Palace without being a player. And you bring all that know-how, that knowledge and experience, which is what he did in Paisley on Saturday. Because there was nothing really on when he picks up that ball. And he rattles
late on as well. Or are you talking about the goal, sorry?
And the setup as well. So the game's won at 4-2, isn't it? But he's still desperate to get forward and looks up and picks him out. Great hit, simple header, but still got to be there. But his goal was terrific. We always felt he had a shot on him. And I think he's took everybody by surprise. One, the ferocity of it, and two, the accuracy of it, because it's went in via the post, so it's more or less in the corner, isn't it? So delighted with that, with both of those players on Saturday, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about taking people by surprise for that goal, but I think he's taking people by surprise as a player so far for Celtic. I think we thought he was going to be... I thought he was going to be pretty polished, which he is, but I think he's got a lot more attacking quality than I probably expected, and you saw that with the goal and the assist. I thought he'd be maybe it was just a bit of a cliche with him a little bit older, but I thought he would be generally like a solid left back, but maybe wouldn't contribute too much going forward. But it's just such a difference when you've got a full back, going up that left-hand side. And hopefully we can keep hold of Schlupp. I think there'll be big questions there, whether he wants to generally probably be a second choice to Tierney. But then again, he might back himself as a player who's played in the Premier League to go and be Celtic first choice next season. And he is out of contract in the summer. But if we could get those two together, Tierney and Schlupp next season, that would be very exciting. Just on Yang, I mean, the goals were really good, and I think, I've still got kind of doubts whether Yang will ever be like a first choice Celtic player. I don't think he's got like the star quality of Kuhn or Jota, for example, or Dyson Maeda. But I think he could certainly be a player who contributes for us next season, and that's even changed for me over the past week. I kind of compared his recent goals he scored for us a bit like Liel Abada, and I never really thought Abada had like the quality with the ball at his feet of someone like Jota or Kuhn now, but Abada really contributed to the team with big goals, big moments, big assists, and I really hope Yang could be something like that, because if he ends up being a similar player to Abada, which is, a fair ask, because I thought Abada was a great player for Celtic with some of the moments he gave us, but if Yang could contribute something like that, like he's looked in recent weeks, you want him around at the club next season. You don't want him loaned out or anything like that.
But I tell you what's probably happened here. I bet the manager said, look at Jota, look at Maida, look at Kuhn. They're getting all the plaudits and all the headlines. Go and join them. If you can't beat them, join them. You've got it in you to be like them. I mean, it's probably superb man management again from Brendan Rodgers, which I go back to that elite level stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Because lots of people were doubting Yang. And Brendan Rodgers kept playing him, giving him cameos, starting them in games. And then people were like, he must see something in him. That's what he sees in him. And there was nobody more delighted for Yang than Yang himself, obviously, his girlfriend, but Brendan Rodgers on Saturday. And even when we spoke to Arne Engels, the players are delighted for him because he's clearly a popular figure in that dressing room.
Yeah.
Clearly a player that the rest of the players want to see do well because they know he's probably got it in him because they see it at training every day, like the manager, which is why the managers went, you know what, you've got something that I'm going to persevere with here and stick with and give you your chance. Because you look at the likes of Lewis Palmer's out the door, Mikey Johnson's left, so people would have said, best probably served going on loan somewhere. But this manager said, no, there's something here that I like. And probably akin to what you're saying, that there's a badder moments in him, isn't there? There's big moments in this player.
There's similarities in him a wee bit.
So he can score big goals. Came on and changed the game on Saturday. Him and also honourable mention to Luke McCowan, who was terrific when he came on. And that's what you want from your substitutes, those impact players. There was a game to be won on Saturday, Hamish. It was hanging in the balance. And those guys came on, stamped their authority all over it, and made sure Celtic got the 3 points, which put them to 3 victories within the 55th title. And, and I don't think you can argue with that. I think everybody was pleased with the final outcome. They really do finish games very strongly, don't they?
Yeah, I mean the chances we created, we scored 3 goals relatively late on. McCowan had that shot that would have been a screamer that went off the post. There's a few when they disallowed Yang goal. We really did carve St Mirren open as that game went on. And I know people will say 5-2 is kind of harsh in St Mirren. It probably was based on how the game went. But I mean, I always think with these things, there's 95, 100 minutes to games these days, and Celtic came on strong as we went on. Seamus saying, Hamish, he's still 21. This is Yang. Plenty of time for him to improve and get even better. 100% Seamus. Seamus Hamish. I get called Seamus occasionally by people. I'm not quite sure why that happened. Why am I bringing that up? They're all going to be doing it now. Delete that wee bit. What else? Definitely think Cal Mack needs a rest. This Waza boy. I thought we actually looked quite good. The midfield looked quite good. McCowan did make a difference, but I thought the midfield, Hatate came onto a bit of a game as the game went on, which, to be fair, is a bit of a theme there. Just when you were talking about Kuhn, what was the comment there? Yeah, Pete saying 1 or 2 of the squad will definitely benefit from 1 game a week scenario. Kuhn strikes me as someone who I think is, as the pitches get better and 1 game a week, I think Kuhn will really finish the season strongly. I agree that he's not been at the same level recently. I remember Matt O'Reilly last season doing a very similar thing. Matt O'Reilly started the season very well. He then faded a bit in the middle of the season. I do remember some people going, like Matt O'Reilly, it's been a while since we've seen him being good. Kind of similar to Kuhn. He then finished the season extremely strongly. So I think we'll see a similar thing with Kuhn. I don't think it'll be enough for him to get Player of the Year because I think Dyson's nailed on for that now.
It wasn't a criticism of Kuhn, it's an observation. I'll say that his levels have tapered off. Nobody can deny that. And then when you're seeing other players like Yang come on, make an impact, Jota, stealing the limelight nearly every time he takes to the field. It's actually one of the few times Jota didn't grab the limelight in the headlines on Saturday. So it's what your eyes, it's what my eyes are telling me. As I say, it's what I'm watching, and I watched Kuhn for a spell on Saturday, kind of the old Sky player cam, and I was just looking at him and was thinking, it's just not happening for him at this minute in time. The Bayern Munich goal apart, which was a huge goal for Celtic at the time, and he took it really well. But again, I would argue that even that night, he didn't have a particularly great game. So I'm just noticing as I say, a levelling off, a tapering off of Kuhn's real high bar that he'd set early on in the season, where, as I say, he was a stick-on for the Player of the Year, not so much now. So, but yeah. I'm hoping, like what you say, he comes good, and doesn't matter really. The manager's favourite phrase is they burst through the tape, isn't it? Well, I'm hoping Kuhn's another one of those that burst through the tape at the end.
I think we really are going to. I mean, something we should probably discuss a little bit is the fact that Saturday kind of signalled the end of the ultramarathon, because Saturday was the week that's just finished was the last week. Basically, there's one other week I think where we've got a midweek game, but we've come through. I mean, I was doing the maths earlier, Tony, and we played. What was it? We played, I think, 7 games in. 7 games in December. We played 8 matches in January and 8 in February, which is a hell of a big ask all of those months. And we have just 4 in March, and we've already played one of them. So it tells you how much quieter it's going to be match-wise. And there was a good quote from Brendan Rodgers. I think John brought it up actually on your video when I was watching it earlier. And Brendan Rodgers speaking about the freshness in the team's defending is just a fraction off at the moment because they're playing so many games and they're just not quite at peak physical condition at the moment because they're playing so many and pushing themselves to the limit, is the quote Brendan Rodgers used. And he's pretty convinced that going to 1 game a week will improve our pressing, and that will make the big difference because we've conceded 12 goals in our last 6 league away matches, which is a lot. It's pretty unusual. But I think Brendan Rodgers seems to think that's because of all the matches. And I tend to agree, to be honest. I think we've got a lot of evidence in recent years of when Celtic go to 1 game per week, you see a real improvement in the team. And I think you'll see an improvement in guys like Kuhn. We've only got 3 more games this month, Tony, but they're all crackers. Yeah. 3 games at Celtic Park. We've got Hibs on Sunday, which is just going to be a belter. Then we've got a derby the following Sunday. Then after the international break, Hearts come to Celtic Park. So it's we've only got 3 more games in March. There's not going to be midweek games, but the games we do have are really good ones.
Oh, they're all belters, aren't they? And by the way, you're in a game Saturday. Get that
Sunday.
Game. Sunday, sorry. Yeah.
We're not in a game Saturday.
Correct. My next sentence was get that game head switched on for the right day,
Yeah.
And I said at the time, didn't think losing to Hibs was the worst thing that could have happened to Celtic. Just refocus, re-energises you, and you say, right, played well the last time against us, and this is a team that are on form. I think they stretched their unbeaten run to 15 in all competitions, didn't they?
Last defeat was at Celtic Park.
With the win in the derby, so this ain't no gimme that people would have said it was a couple of months ago or when the draw was actually made. So they're coming to turf you out the cupboard to try and end your treble hopes. So Celtic be wary of that because they're a good outfit. He's got them playing well, and but I'm sure, and myself and John spoke about that. You touched on it there. The rest period, I think, is going to work wonders for Celtic. That not having a midweek game and having a long preparation for a game of this magnitude when you're defending your Scottish Cup and your treble hopes are on the line. So I'm actually glad that this week of rest and recuperation and rechanneling your energies has come at this time for Celtic. So, but I agree. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker of a cup tie.
Yeah, it reminds me a fair bit of the Aberdeen stuff earlier in the season. Remember, they came to Celtic Park joint with us at the top of the table, and there was a lot of hype about that game. I think it's going to feel quite similar to that in the lead up to this one. I think with it being in the Scottish Cup, it might even be even more hyped. And Hibs have sold, I think, they announced they'd sold 2,500 tickets a few days ago, but they have the opportunity to sell up to 7,000. And I wouldn't be massively surprised if they sell that. I think given that they've just beaten Hearts yesterday, 15 unbeaten, they're going to fancy it, I think, on Sunday. And as much as we're clearly going to still be massive favourites, and it's still a game we all expect Celtic to win, Hibs are probably going to come into that game and think, we could do something here. So I think you're going to have, I don't know if they'll sell the 7,000, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if there was 5,000-6,000 Hibs fans there on Sunday, which will make for an incredible atmosphere, incredible game. I think Celtic Park, the Celtic end, I think is going to be sold out, isn't it? I would certainly hope, and it's possibly the biggest test we'll face in our bid to win the treble from here. It looks like it certainly. I mean, 15 games unbeaten is an incredible run for a team like Hibs.
Oh, it's amazing, and fair play to them. And I think they will bring the huge. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold out their 7,000 allocation on the back of yesterday's result as well. But that's what you want, Hamish.
Yeah,
it's got the feel of a big game, and I think the bigger the game and the occasion, it brings out the best in the Celtic players. So that's what I agree. Two forum teams going head to head.
Two best teams in the country, isn't it, by a fair margin?
By a fair distance. That's what you want. And the advantage you have is it's at home. And also you'll be very mindful the last time that you played. So I just think all the ingredients are there for Celtic to be bang at it. The supporters will be bang at it because you have, as you say, it's the one impediment to a domestic treble, isn't it? Let's be honest. Get through this, then you'd have to say that you'd fancy your chances of reeling off another treble. That'd be the 6th treble in 9 years. So, just focus from now. Well, the focus will have been switched on as soon as Saturday's final whistle was blown, and enjoy the kind of rest and recuperation week in the training this week. But, there's a huge job to do come Sunday. Huge job.
But I think you're right, though, in saying that the bigger the occasion, the better it is for this Celtic team. Like, I know we didn't beat Aberdeen that day, but the performance, other than 10 minutes, was pretty good from what I remember. It was pretty professional. We just fell apart for 10 minutes, regathered ourselves, and somehow didn't win that game. But remember the game at Hampden a few weeks later when we battered Aberdeen, 6-0. I wonder if we could see that kind of performance. I also people remember one against Hearts a number of years ago in the League Cup semi-final at Murrayfield when Hearts were hyped. Hearts under Craig Levein were on a long unbeaten run, and it was Brendan Rodgers Celtic. I just think Brendan Rodgers in these kind of games that we're looking at on Sunday has a really good record. I think when there's a kind of much hyped team, whether that be Hearts or Aberdeen or Hibs, or let's face it, Rangers, quite a lot of the time, he's quite good at bursting teams' bubbles. And I think we might see the same on Sunday. I wouldn't be totally surprised if you see a fired up Celtic team, especially after we lost to Hibs 2 weeks ago.
This is where the manager and the players come into their own.
I agree.
This is when he talks about coming alive. This is the one that flicks the switch, isn't it, of everybody and gets the juices flowing. So I wouldn't be surprised either. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up most much a similar scoreline to the semi-final against Aberdeen at Hampden. But, something of that ilk with Celtic scoring a few goals. And because when they get to these situations, there's a ruthlessness about Celtic at times in these games. There's a real clinical edge to them, and all taught to handed down by the manager because he sets certain standards and he wants certain things from his players. And when they're in that mood, then anything can happen, and teams can get swatted aside. And I think it's right for that on Sunday, and that's no disrespect to Hibs because I've mentioned them and I think what they're doing is terrific. But I think when Celtic really put the afterburners on, nobody can live with them. And I think having had the whole week to really, really plan and prepare for this, I think that's what could happen on Sunday.
Yeah, can't wait for it though. It's going to be a cracker, and we've got plenty of time to build ahead to it. We also had a new kit unveiled today. Tony, have you seen this? Adidas Originals.
The white one with the badge in the middle, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very good at explaining things. I'll let Celtic do it. The jersey features a custom, here's a word I've never seen in my life, lenticular badge, which alternates between a 3 and 4 leaf clover as you move.
Yeah. I thought
what sorcery is this?
3D image, goes from the 4 to the 3, yeah.
Was that like one of those, what did you used to get, like, kind of magazines and stuff that if you looked at in a certain way, you'd see something, and then not sure
But
if I like that in a kit.
Hologram effect, isn't it? So it's I did see that was doing the rounds on social media last night. So depending on its personal choice, isn't it? If you like that kind of thing.
So this is a fourth kit? Yeah, I'm just reading about it.
Yeah, I think it's the St. Patrick's Day kit. Is that right?
Okay, so it's become a tradition in recent years. So the team probably won't wear it, will they?
Well, they play Rangers on March the 16th, don't they? So,
imagine they turned up and not the hoops for that one. That won't go down well.
Yeah. So it's and it's got the trefoil, the original trefoil Adidas.
Yeah.
Hasn't it? Not the older Adidas, because they're now an iconic sporting brand, are Celtic. So they now get the full Adidas treatment. So if you like that kind of thing, then it's your bag. Then I'm sure you'll go out and purchase it.
Well, you'll need to have at least 90 quid lying spare, because that's how much they're wanting for it. Scandalous, says Wazza Boy. Seamus saying it's shocking. I tend to agree, to be honest. I think that's for a fourth kit. I mean, without getting too deep into this, I think you have to draw the line somewhere. And Celtic bringing out 4 kits a year and charging £90 for one the team, I would say, probably aren't going to wear in a match, I think is a wee bit over the top. I know people always say nobody's forcing you to buy it, and I get that point as well, but I don't know if it sits too well with me, the Adidas Celtic thing. But hey ho, so you won't be going out and getting it, Tony. We can't expect to see you tomorrow. Kevin might get it.
It's Kevin's kind of bag. He'll be sporting it at some point, no doubt, in the future. It's not my kind of bag, to be honest. I don't have any Celtic stuff. No. Regardless to what people might think about me. I do wear a lot of green clothes that people have pointed out. That's fair enough, but I don't really have any kind of Celtic paraphernalia or memorabilia. I think I own one Celtic top, and that was presented to me when I left the Daily Record. And Scott Brown and Neil Lennon signed it, which was nice, a nice souvenir. So, yeah, that's it. Apart from that, I don't have anything of a Celtic nature.
Fair enough. McLaughlin P wondering, are we going to wear it in a game? I would say not, but who knows? They might surprise us. You're can we say where you're off to later?
Yeah, I'm heading to Hampden right now. Neil Lennon and Alan Stubbs are speaking to the media to preview the Scottish Cup quarter-final on Sunday. So look forward to bumping into both of them. And they have a foot in both camps, obviously, because they're both former Hibernian.
Both of them do.
Yeah. So it's looking forward to that. So yeah, we jumping off this and have suit will travel, because I think it says 11 o'clock, but chances of it starting at 11 are very slim.
Yeah. Neil Lennon's everywhere at the moment, isn't he? He's doing a lot of media and stuff. He's quite good as well on TV.
He's very good. Yeah. That's why he's doing a lot of media. Because I said it the other day. He should be back in a technical area. He's got far too much to offer in terms of.
There's a job coming up in the summer.
As a coach. So, but in the meantime, I think he enjoys the punditry work and stuff like that. But he'll tell you himself there's no substitute for being in the technical area and dealing with players and being in and around that dressing room environment, as players and managers often say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy yourself later on and chat to all of them, and I'm sure we'll have stuff will be going up on the website from that at some stage.
I'm sure there'll be video footage as well, so we'll be taking that. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled on the website, because it'll be being put up at all points during the day.
Excellent stuff. Right, we'll head off for now then. Let you get on with your Monday. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate your chat once again. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and watching and commenting or not commenting, whatever you did or didn't do. I'll return tomorrow to continue the chat and look ahead a bit more. It's a long way ahead of Sunday, but it's going to be